It didn't roar, it didn't scream, it didn't shake the ground the way old legends did. It simply arrived, quiet and unbothered, rolling into the market with the confidence of something that already knew how this story ends. While Ferrari sharpened its aerodynamics, Lamborghini polished its aggression, and Rolls-Royce perfected its palaces on wheels, one electric SUV slipped through the noise. Not one model from each brand, their entire yearly production. A million-plus unit force that didn't shout for attention, didn't chase applause, and didn't pretend to be anything other than exactly what millions of drivers around the world were waiting for. The strange part? Most people still have no idea how big this shift really is. They see a Ferrari and think of speed. They see a Lamborghini and think of power. They see a Rolls and think of status. But they rarely see the millions of people quietly choosing something else, something more practical, digital, cleaner, easier, and built for actual life, not fantasy garages and racetrack dreams. And that's what makes this story so disruptive. The Tesla Model Y didn't just outsell the icons. It ended an era. It redefined the world's idea of a dream car without ever raising its voice. For decades, the formula for a dream car was simple: low, loud, wild, and unapologetically impractical. These were cars you photographed even when they were parked, machines you bought for the life you wished you had, not the life you actually live. They turned heads, but twisted backs. They conquered racetracks, but suffered on speed bumps. They were thrilling, yes, but the world changed. Cities grew congested, commutes stretched longer than ever, roads became brutal, weather became unpredictable, and traffic turned daily driving into a test of patience. Sitting inches from the asphalt in a stiff, loud machine stopped feeling glamorous and started feeling like punishment. The fantasy no longer matched reality, and that's when the SUV stepped in, taller, calmer, more confident, and most importantly, more useful. It didn't try to be sexy. It simply asked one question: do you want your life to feel easier? Millions answered yes, and the Model Y became the purest version of that answer. The Tesla Model Y didn't take over the world by being the fastest or loudest. It did it by being the most logical. It fit into everyday life with a seamlessness no traditional car could match. It was the family car, the commuter car, the road trip machine, the errand runner, the winter warrior, the silent transporter, and the digital living room on wheels, all wrapped into one shape that didn't intimidate or confuse. Gas cars had engines that required belts, pumps, filters, fluids, timing systems, exhaust systems, and dozens of moving parts constantly wearing themselves down. The Model Y had a battery, a motor, and software that updated like a smartphone while you slept. Most owners weren't car experts. They didn't want to be. They wanted a tool that worked. And Tesla delivered exactly that. Its global rise wasn't a regional fluke. It was a multi-continent takeover. In the United States, it became the tech-forward family upgrade, replacing crossovers and sedans that had dominated for decades. In Europe, it slid smoothly into the role of clean, efficient city cruiser, perfect for narrow streets and rising emission standards. In China, one of the world's most competitive EV markets, it became a symbol of modernity and digital-first convenience. In emerging markets, it represented the future arriving early, a leap over outdated engines straight into the next era of mobility. One shape, one idea, millions of people saying yes without the car ever needing to shout. The numbers behind this shift shook the industry. Ferrari sells roughly 10,000 cars a year, Lamborghini around 9,000, Rolls-Royce roughly 6,000, respected, admired, and niche. Meanwhile, the Tesla Model Y crossed the million-unit mark in a single year. In 2023, it officially became the best-sellered car in the entire world. Not just the best-sellered electric vehicle, not just the best-sellered luxury model, but the best-sellered car, period. Outselling Toyotas, outselling traditional gas crossovers, outselling every shape and category the industry had relied on for decades. When those numbers hit the global charts, the message was impossible to ignore. The age of loud engines as status symbols is fading. The age of quiet, smart utility is here. This wasn't a competition, it was a shift. The reason for the shift runs deeper than just design or branding. Electric vehicles carry structural advantages that gas cars simply cannot match. The Model Y doesn't have a transmission. It doesn't have spark plugs, pistons, or thousands of tiny explosions happening every minute. It doesn't have gears. It doesn't idle. It doesn't require oil changes. Instead, it offers instant torque, that surreal EV surge the moment you touch the pedal, paired with a giant battery pack, dual motors in many trims, and onboard software that keeps evolving. Over-the-air updates fix bugs, add features, improve efficiency, and even increase performance in some cases. It didn't feel like a traditional vehicle. It felt like a device. Reliable, predictable, customizable, and constantly improving. The real magic wasn't on paper. It was in how the Model Y felt after living with it for a week. That's where most conversions happened. The silence became addictive. The instant acceleration became normal. One-pedal driving made traffic smoother. No gear shifts made long drives feel lighter, and the absence of vibration made every trip feel more relaxing. Even range, anxiety, the great fear surrounding EVs faded when drivers realized how dense the supercharger network had become in North America, Europe, China, and dozens of other regions. You stopped, plugged in, grabbed a coffee, and 10 or 20 minutes later you were ready for hundreds more kilometers. The fear evaporated. Gas cars suddenly felt outdated, noisy, complex, and unnecessarily busy. The ripple effect was enormous. The Model Y's success forced the oldest, proudest brands to break promises they once swore they'd never break. Lamborghini built an SUV, the Urus, and it quickly became its best-sellered model. Ferrari resisted the longest, but even it eventually launched the Purosangue, acknowledging that practicality had become unavoidable. Rolls-Royce created the Cullinan, breaking a century-old identity because the market demanded height, comfort, and presence over tradition. These brands weren't following trends, they were reacting to a world that the Model Y had already reshaped. This is the shift the industry didn't see coming. Dream cars used to live on posters, now they live in garages. The fantasy was low and loud, the reality is tall, quiet, efficient, and digitally connected. The car that rewrote the definition didn't have flames, didn't have wings, didn't have a V12 screaming through tunnels. It had silence, software, reliability, and relevance. While old giants chased more sound, more power, more theater, the Model Y chased something more powerful, usefulness. And it won. The future it created is already visible. Millions of families now expect their next car to charge at home, update through Wi-Fi, last longer with fewer parts to break, feel calm inside, and accelerate with instant force instead of mechanical hesitation. That expectation won't disappear, it will grow. Every automaker now competes in the world the Model Y built, a world where the dream car is not the loudest, but the smartest. If this breakdown opened your eyes to how the silent revolution unfolded, hit the like button so more people see it, drop a comment with the car you think rises next, and subscribe for more deep dive stories, tech breakdowns, and the hidden shifts shaping our world.